Look, everybody lies. The trick is always, why are they lying? Poker Face. I've been wanting to get around to this one for a while, and I've now seen all of season one. This was created by Ryan Johnson, who I think handles mysteries very, very well. And it stars Natasha Lyonne. Now, Natasha Lyonne is on the shit list at the moment because she is pushing AI in films and television and entertainment. She's actually fronting an AI company. So I'm not happy with her right now. That having been said, I didn't find that out until I was partway through the season, so I did finish it, and I do intend to watch the second season. After that, she might become an actress who I avoid until she recognizes the error of her ways and makes good on the damage she's contributing to. So I am aware. You don't have to tell me. I'm ticked off about it because I've always liked her as a performer, but here we are. So Poker Face it's close to an anthology mystery series. There is a little bit of an overarching story that does actually kind of matter a little in terms of it is the premise as to why she keeps ending up in completely different places. The whole thing is very clearly taking a lot of cues from Columbo, if you ever watched any of those. It has a very similar format, which is we see the murder and we know who did it, way before we start trying to solve the mystery. Like at the time the murder happens, we as the audience know who did it. And we probably know most of how. There might be some other twists at play, but ultimately it's about seeing how Charlie, our lead character, realizes that these people did it and how she busts them. Now, Charlie herself is not a cop. So whereas in Columbo, which also would have, a completely new cast of supporting people and often pulling in pretty big names to just appear in one episode of a mystery series. That's another thing. This kind of another way in which Poker Face takes its cues from Columbo. But Columbo himself was a police lieutenant. He was investigating the murders. So that was why he was always there. Charlie is not. Charlie's not an investigator, and she's not a cop. So there is a little bit the coincidence of she keeps ending up in places where people are getting murdered. But at the same time, there is a reason why she keeps changing settings and supporting cast all the time, which is she is on the run. There was a guy in a casino, not the owner, the owner's son, was trying to make a name for himself, and he had a scheme because he knew about Charlie's special talent for just knowing when someone is lying. Like when someone says a lie, she just knows. Now, I do like the quirk that, well, it's not even a quirk, it's a limitation that she knows when something is a lie. That doesn't mean she knows what the truth is. She just knows, okay, the thing you just said is not true. That doesn't mean she knows what the actual truth is, and it doesn't mean she knows why you lied. But she will always know when you do. That's just a really solid, like, singular laser pointed kind of superpower that they gave her, but it's not omnipotent. That doesn't mean she knows a bunch of stuff. It's like, no, it's just this one thing. And it's often why she even stumbles on to the fact that, a death wasn't an accident in the first place, just by hearing somebody say something going, well, that's not true. And then not being able to stop herself from unraveling the sweater and, pulling the threads and being like, okay, but why'd they lie about that? And then that leads her to what it was that happened. Now, sort of as I was saying with the initial premise, she was kind of being brought in on a scheme to help rig a poker game. And because of a bunch of other stuff that happened, she uncovers some stuff that this son of a casino owner did. And to avoid the consequences of being found out, he kills himself, which means that his dad, who actually owns the casino, he wants her brought back. And so she's on the run. She doesn't have a smartphone. She is taking really lousy, odd jobs, the kind of thing that you'd get someone to just pay them cash then you wouldn't do a background check on. So, she's doing stuff like being a roadie, being, doing just some groundwork at a retirement home, just becoming an assistant to a retired special effects guy who's working on a personal project, stuff like that. And they handle all that really well. And I said my piece about Natasha Lyonne and why I'm annoyed with her, but she is really good for this part. She just has this great quality to her that just feels somewhat distant, but at the same time kind of warm and inviting. It's like you want to sit down and chat with her, but you're also like, you probably won't let me get particularly close to you, will you? And it's a perfect balance for a character like this. Like, she's really perfectly suited for this. Now, since this is kind of an anthology show in that each episode is largely self-contained, with really only the first and the last of the season dealing with the overarching story of her being on the run. Otherwise, that's just kind of a fact of her existence at this point. I am going to do a quick ranking of the 10 episodes and give you the order in which I liked them most. I'm not going to go into detail on any of these. I'm just going to kind of go through them real quick. At the bottom, number 10 was the Orpheus syndrome. This was the one that dealt with the people who worked at and or owned the special effects place. Like, just because it's at the bottom doesn't mean it's bad. There's still good stuff in it. Nick Nolte was real good in it. There's some just some cool, sort of love letters to practical special effects and stuff like that. There's some nifty stuff there, but it's really overwrought. And I think it's a directing issue on that episode, because it's just like between the filming, the music choices, some of the acting choices, and the way it's shot, it's just really, it's too much. It is treating the whole thing like it's opera, which I just don't think flows great. It needed to be dialed back a little bit. So that one's at the bottom. And kind of on a similar note, the one that I will put at number 9 is Exit Stage Death, which deals again with the entertainment industry. And you have these actors who used to do a TV show together, and they kind of hate each other, and they're like, they're gonna do this play as a one night thing, as a reunion, so one of them can kind of get the acting bug out of his head for a little bit and sort of satisfy that itch, and the other trying desperately to revive her career. And there's just a lot of cringe in this one, and like the level of diva-ness, particularly of the actress, I just didn't enjoy watching. Not that I didn't find it believable, but just I found it that secondhand embarrassment, that sense of cringe, not pleasant for me to watch. So I didn't personally really care for that one. At number 8, I'm going to put Dead Man's Hand, which is the very first episode, which is a totally solid episode, but it is doing that thing that a lot of first episodes have to do, which is carry the weight of having to explain the setup and introduce the character. So it doesn't fully give you a solid idea of what a normal episode is, because it's having to do all the setup stuff. It does it perfectly well. I really don't have any complaints about it. It's just, I like the normal episodes better than the setup that was required to do that. And kind of on a similar note, after that, at number 7, I would put The Hook, which is the finale. Now, this one also has some real good, every episode has some real good supporting actors and some sizable names in it. But I really liked Clea Duvall, who plays Charlie. That's Natasha Lyonne's character, plays Charlie's sister. The two of them together were really great. And we get Ron Perlman, who I'm always happy to see. It does kind of cheat a little bit at the end, because it basically creates a new excuse that even though the immediate situation was resolved, Charlie still has to go on the run again so we can have another season. I get that, like, that's how we have more episodes of the show and keep it in this format, but like it does feel a little bit like a cheat. You know what I mean? Still pretty good. Number 6, The Stall. That's the one that dealt with the smokehouse and the barbecue. The plot, the murder plot, and that was a little over convoluted, although like purposefully so. It was kind of comedically convoluted, so I did still like it. But compared to the other ones, I'm going to put it a little bit lower. Number 5, the future of the sport. So that's the classic car racing one. I really like the characters in that one. Like all the characters are good, but like those felt like really fully fleshed out characters that we got, and I felt like I knew them better than I should for the amount of runtime I got for each of these characters. Yeah, that one's really solidly assembled, and like it's just getting better from here. Number 4, I'm gonna put Escape from Shit Mountain. A little bit of a different format on that one, but really good tension, and again, really fantastic supporting characters in that. Like the one thing is like the kind of opening premise for why Charlie is stuck around in this particular location is a little it is silly. Like it was the excuse to have her end up here particularly, and I get that, but like there is a limit to how far you can push the look. It's just an excuse to have this story. Just let us have fun. There are limits to that. I think they kind of pushed them a little bit. That's really my only complaint about that one, though. And oh, the guy, the guys in that are just such amazing scumbags. Oh yeah, that one was good. The Night Shift, 3rd episode, the one with the second episode, even the one with the mechanic and the guy who made sandwiches, just really well put together, and it's a really neat jump to have that one happen so early, because initially we're dealing with people higher up, high rollers in a casino, and then we're just basically at this truck stop strip mall, and we're dealing with truckers and broke mechanics and a convenience store employee, but it still feels like a very natural story to be telling. I like that one a lot. That one's kind of hard for me to put my finger on, other than just like that really nailed down the format of what this show was going to be, which is what it needed to do, because first episode like introduced the premise and the character, and second episode had to like show this is what a standard episode of this show is, and it does it expertly. Number 2, The Time of the Monkey. That's the one set at the retirement home. Oh, those characters are so good. And there's amazing layers. Particularly, I'm thinking about the 2 older ladies. Oh, I just loved learning about them. That was great stuff. And then at the top, I would put Rest in Metal, the one with the metal band. Like, boy, I could understand, the people who end up being murderers. I understand their frustration. I understand what drove them to it, but also like the way in which we get to know the victim, and it's after he's already dead, because like, yeah, he seemed kind of annoying and like maybe nothing of value was lost, but then you spend more time with him because we get flashbacky stuff. And he was a great character. And then the resolution, even aside from the murder thing, like where things go off the rails with the plot and what they were trying to gain from all this, was just mwah, chef's kiss, no notes, amazing. And yeah, just stunning casts across the board for this. Every cast was great, whether they were a big name or not. And there were a lot of pretty sizable names across this show. So I don't know when I'll be done with season 2. It's something that I am actually watching with one of my partners. So it'll be something that I get to intermittently, but we'll see. I like this show. It's good stuff. Poker Face season 1. Have you seen it? What'd you think about it? What was your favorite and or least favorite, or heck, rank all 10 if you feel like it, episode from this season? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. They all help. Don't worry too much about it, though. Take a relaxed attitude around here, and you just come on back next time you need a break. And now to shout out my highest supporting patrons. Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lutfula, Auntie Kate 808, Mira G, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Oliver B, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Becky Sparks, Ulrich, Loki Eris, Tracy Scrabbit, Pal Barabajoggle, Sir Didymus is my favorite, and starting this month, I'm going to shout out 3 random supporters from the other tiers. So this month, my thanks to Tommy Castronova, Tim Price, and Caramelized Catherine. If you want to hear me shout you out, check out the reward tiers on the Patreon. You know, I put them one on each shoulder, they consolidated immediately. So, thanks, guys.